Hello, everybody. Welcome in. Paint Needs Plastic, Dundersnuff, Eoraptor. What's going on, guys? It is time for us to jump in and get started. So let me move some things off to the side here. I have some black paint down, and I have a big tank. Last night, I was painting the white accent color on here. So we got all that, and again there will be treads here. So I was working on that on everything, and I suffered through. I put the base coats of white on the on all the weapon casings. We have to go back. We'll do touch-ups on the silver and everything, but right now I am going to paint black. Nice long walk on the beach today. That's nice. That's awesome. Getting the kill team done. That's really cool, yo. Nice, man. That sounds like a wonderful day. Happy vacation to you. We're gonna start this casing here. Spent some time with family yesterday, excuse me, that were in town. And yeah, I did the hangout last night. Super tired, but it was fun. It was great to chill. They were back at it. It's cold today. I'm not liking this, guys. I'm not okay with this. It's cold in my house. It was cold this morning. Do not like it. What's up, Blue? How you doing? A dog's playing poker model and glue it under the big turret inside the tank. Oh, that'd be funny. Yeah. Just a random garbage. Dogs playing poker and glue it on the inside of the turret. Just start gluing random stuff inside the minis. Years from now, decades from now, I'll pass away and my grandkids will take apart these minis and they'll find all these ridiculous things. And they'll make it like some big mystery. But it was just me being dumb and doing a Twitch thing. Drapes open to let the sun in. Yeah, that's probably what I need to do. We got curtains open and everything, but what happens is, you know, I come down here and I stream in my downstairs room that I'm in. And when I'm done streaming, I've been sitting for 3 hours plus just painting minis. And the room stays pretty warm. I close my door and my computer, and me talking all morning, afternoon kind of warms this little room up. Then I go out into the rest of my house, and it's freezing cold. And I'm always freezing cold. It starts to happen about this time of year. And so my typical thing was I would just wait to take a shower until I was done with stream, and then I could warm myself up that way, but that ship sailed today, so I'm just going to have to suffer and be cold. Got with another fever yesterday morning. Oh, man. Stop, Blue. Dude, stop getting sick. What are you doing? And fair warning, guys, this tank is going to be out of frame a lot. So I'm trying to do a good job on it and also trying to keep it in frame, but it's difficult to do both.
Stay on target.
Yeah, thanks. You'd love to just stop getting sick. Yeah, just stop it. Okay. So we got some of the black on there. It's not a lot. I think this red, I think I'll get some of this this white off of here, and maybe we'll just do some red there. Other places to have black. See, and I could do something crazy, like put like a black bar down the tank or something, but I don't know if I necessarily want to do that. I'm fine keeping the black a little more muted down. We'll have a lot of gold today as well. Set aside. Time for a story. All right, John Lockridge, what's the story? John Lockridge is on YouTube. We're going to share us a story. I'll read it to you guys. Hope it's a good story. "11:45 p.m. Tuesday night. I was sitting in my living room. A tree fell across my driveway down the power lines next to my house. Oh, fun. I know what that's like. All right. What happened next? That's crazy. Also, why did that happen? Was a random neighbor out just like trying to trim his tree? Middle of the night? Yesterday, I spent the whole day clearing the tree out of the driveway, moving bush to the tree line. Yeah. Hopefully, our company didn't sit on that. Crack down the middle was leaning toward the driveway. Yeah. Okay. Wow, that's crazy. That is wild. Yeah, so you knew it was coming down eventually, but finally did. Well, it doesn't sound like it damaged anything on your property, so that's good. Okay. Get out of there for now. I should be wearing a glove right now. There's chance of getting sweaty hands and rubbing paint off the model. Kind of make do at the moment. Miraculously, was able to get our electric mast on the house repaired. AP made it out, got us power, leaving work early. Okay. Getting new fiber optic in. Okay, well, good. Sounds like got it on everything pretty quick. We had that happen earlier this year. A tornado ran right next to our house, maybe over a house. Still not completely sure. But yeah, and then it split one of our trees in half. Knocked it over. Fortunately, it wasn't power lines, just communication lines, but it took a while for everything to get back in order. It was a big old headache. And then we had to remove that tree anyway, so then that took a bunch of money. Getting the wash on this Mini today would probably be my big goal today. And that means that I'll be able to start highlights tomorrow, which is a big deal. Some of these highlights are going to take a while, but yeah, it'll be really good to get the highlights down on this mini as soon as possible. Just work toward finishing. What's up, Mydro? How you doing? And Nuber Gaming. Yeah, why can't anything just be a little bit? Yeah, it's the story of my year. Magnifier with light keeps cutting out? Oh, that's too bad. You gotta help your old man eyes. You gotta keep the batteries stocked up. Switching to Twitch. Alright, Moojuice, yeah. FellBlade's only just been primed. I mean, I kind of do this a lot, so... yeah, it's gonna be pretty fast. You know, one of the things that slowed me down, too, was that, my, like, priming and, like, airbrush kind of base coating process is, like, a 2-day process. So I wasn't even able to, like, start on this on Monday like I would have been able to if I had probably any other Legion. Just kind of stuck waiting for things to happen at some point, so welcome over. Weather it much? Yeah, I think I'm gonna weather it a bit. Yeah, I definitely want to see like it's, you know, it's seen some service. There's a couple spots on it where like the airbrush maybe made a couple mistakes, paint pulled and stuff, and like I can always just cover that up with weathering. So how did the football or soccer game go? Did the weather interfere? Yeah, Tuesday my son's game got canceled. He does have a game tonight. So, and it's his last, like, you know, regular season game. And then next week is they do a playoff game, and then they have a championship. And it's Little League. There's just 4 teams in their league. But his coach is going to be gone all week. So yeah, he asked if I would be willing to coach the team through those games. You know, 1, maybe 2 games. So I guess I'm going to be coaching soccer. Some pics of Flag Burst. Sweet. I'll check it out in a few minutes, Nuber. Just remind me in a little bit if I don't get to it, because I am very prone to forget things. Okay, just a couple more of these bands here. I think I'll do this, and there's a band right back here. I'll do both of those. Blade of Fell is looking pretty. Thank you. I appreciate it. What we're working on. I do have another YouTube video that's going to be up probably this afternoon, this evening. I popped it up for Patreon members to view a day early. I put it up last night. But I found myself with a bit of spare time. Yesterday I had like 45 minutes of time before I had to like meet family and like after the gym, like morning routine stuff and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and record this video. I finished up like all the preliminary work, like the research and everything for it. So I was like, I'll just go ahead and record it. And then this yesterday evening, I just went ahead and did some quick edits and threw it up on YouTube. So that'll be ready soon. It'll be available for everyone soon, but it's ready. So I'm going to start on the next one. I am enjoying the process of these. It gives me, again, it gives me an outlet just to kind of talk about the game and everything to people that may or may not want to listen. Yes, it is another Thousand Suns Tactica. However, this one is a general video about just how to use psychic abilities in the game. So obviously more relevant to Thousand Suns than any other faction. But if you're curious how psychic abilities and powers and weapons and everything work in the game in 3rd edition Heresy, it's a really good video because there's a lot of like weird little nuanced things about the rules. So Guy's tired, full day of lumberjack work. Yeah. Yeah, that's hard work. Cutting apart trees and moving all that. Give it a watch. Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, I get it. I get it, Mujus. I don't play nearly as often as I'd like to. Quick outline here. This isn't too much black as an accent. Psychics is the whole point. It's the whole point of Thousand Suns. It is, yeah. Yeah, it really is. So Thousand Suns use it a lot more. But I feel like it's helpful if you want to field librarians. You're not playing Thousand Suns. You're like, man, I want to see like how good a librarian is. And you want to know how the rules work. Or if you want to know how they work to be able to like understand what your opponent's doing. Because again, there's some nuance to them, and the rules are fairly clear with how things work, but that doesn't mean it's always easy to find or that people take the time to understand exactly how they work. So being a care for an elderly plant, you don't have a social life at all anymore. Oh, that sucks. Fingers. Forest, threatening neighbor's house. Wow, 3,500 to take a tree down? How big was that tree? Or if we just say 1,000 Sun Psychers are in the game, or is it situational? I mean, I think all the Psychic powers are situational. There are a couple that are very abusable, and that can turn 1,000 Suns army into like the most unfun thing to play against. But I think in general, like there aren't any powers that are like this is the overall, like, you know, use this every time kind of thing. There's always risk to it. But most of them have solid use cases. They're just somewhat niche. So, like I said, there's one power that's probably the worst offender of all of them. It's just a power that gives your unit rending 5+ on their shots. And rending is really good because it auto wounds on a 5+ your attacks too, but then it synergizes because those auto wounds count as 6s to wound. So if you have anything with breaching, the breaching also triggers, you know, if it's like breaching 6 up, so then your attacks are AP2 on the rends, and then when you put that with weapons like autocannons and plasma guns, you just end up doing stupid amounts of damage. Yeah. Yeah, so I did do I made a video. The current video that's up, the latest one, is about the 1,000 Suns psychic abilities specifically, their arcanas. So if you're curious to hear about the specific arcana, it's kind of a long one, but I have the chapters marked out and everything. So it's not like, I don't think it's horrible to cycle through, but yeah. Hey, Zen. Hey, Light, how you doing? Welcome in. My day's been going great. Batch paint isn't really saving you time. Batch paint isn't. Batch painting isn't. That's too bad. Definitely a fan of batch painting. What batch painting does, the biggest time saver that batch painting gives you, is you don't have to wait for paint to dry. You never have to have downtime when you're batch painting. Especially when it comes to the washes and like contrast colors and stuff. Yeah, you should be able to just put your colors on, go down the line every mini, and then go to your next one. His infecting algorithm with whatever. Yeah, exactly. He does that to me too. Yeah, Blue. No, I get it, man. He sends me the most cursed. Now, the last couple he sent me have been actually like funny and not too weird. You're twitching and driving. Yeah, of course you are. Okay, I think that's solid for initial black coat here. Binoculars, we got these weapons. Front part. Alright, and just to give you guys an idea, I had to paint 40 tiny gaunts, so I caved, did most of the work in the airbrush. Yeah, airbrush definitely helps you when you're batch painting. I paint like a few parts, then break, then return. Yeah, that's fair. I like to put one color down in the palette. I'm like, all right, I'm going to paint this color, and then I go to the next color when that's done. Okay. So the amount of white on this mini, and what's funny is this red turned out into kind of like two tones. I probably got thicker coats on here than over this whole tank, but it gets evened out with washes and stuff. But this is the amount of color. I think that is an appropriate amount. And again, all this red right here, this is going to be covered with treads. So it's not going to look red there. It's going to be broken up. And also the sponsons are white, so it'll break up more white kind of in the middle here. So all right, let's pull that turret off, put you down. We did the black paint. We can do gold next. Let's paint some gold from Citadel bottle. Yeah, you paint straight from the bottle, from the Citadel bottle. Yeah, that's rough. That is rough. Most blood effects on these Night Lords. Nice. Getting blood effects on the Night Lords. That's cool. Extra crazy. And I was watching I watched a Heresy information video, and they were talking about Inductii, the new Inductii rules that came out at the end of last month. And I'll watch and I'll get to the like Thousand Suns and they'll talk about Thousand Suns, and then they just like they talk about it and like, yeah, this is okay, it's not great, and then they just like skip over it. And it's so frustrating because I feel like they miss some of the biggest stuff that happens with this Legion, which is a big reason why I'm doing my own channel for this stuff, because it's just every single person says the same thing. And I'm like, you guys are missing so much when it comes to this squad and like this army in general. There's like, yeah, I don't see it doing much, and then they just like pass over it and not talking about the different equipment you can give them, or like how they become like super broken if you just pay an extra 3 points per mod. Like it's just crazy. You ever hear that, like, anybody here, like, you really like a podcast, just like a general podcast, and then one day they talk about a topic you know a lot about, and it's just infuriating. You realize, like, how little they know about everything. I was having a bit of that syndrome. It's because they're not Space Wolves, yeah. In second, they weren't so hot. A lot of pro gamers stopped playing. Yeah, I think you're right, Mujus. Yeah, people just stopped playing them. And I also think their rules are a lot more complicated than a lot of other Legions, so it's hard to, like, quantify. You can't just look at a unit and be like, wow, that's good, or wow, that's bad. Like, there's so many factors that go into what they do. So I will get to the inductee in my videos, and I'm excited to talk about them in particular because everybody's so down on them, and nobody understands. None of these YouTubers understand what they're missing. Yeah, no, I agree, Mujus. I agree. I don't think they will be, just because I think they're like hoops to kind of jump through to get a lot of their like really busted abilities. Not that those hoops are particularly difficult to jump through, but anytime you have that, you're gonna get people that kind of disregard them. People are just gonna run to Iron Hands because they're like, yeah, -1 to wound or whatever, and then that's where they sit for the addition. Okay. Yeah, Iron Warriors will be really good too. Yeah, a lot of legions are pretty decent. There's there's not a lot of powers that are just completely useless. Dark Angels probably have one of the worst, but then they just have like solid Legion rules to make up for it, like good units and weapons and stuff, and 6 different detachments and all this crazy stuff. Word Bears seemed really bad at first. Now everybody's like, man, they're really good. And they also have really good units. Yeah. In terms of learning the game, is there an army that works well to get into without getting many mechanics or models to worry about? The problem I have with the ones I started is that they're hordes, so you need a lot, which is fine with units or add mech. That's pretty painful. As far as 40k goes, I'm not sure. Space Marines and Necrons, like those are 2 pretty simple armies. I feel like to collect and to paint and to play. A full Duracell battery on this piece. I like the gold right here. And Mujus, no, there is one reaction that you can use to try to cancel psychic power, but it only works against curses. And the way curses work in Heresy is, instead of the controlling player of the Psyker making the willpower check, the manifestation check to use the curse, the player that has the target mini, so the opponent, makes the psychic check. And if they pass, the power fails, right? Because they're trying to resist it. The reaction you use, if you fail that particular willpower check, you can use that reaction. I think it has to be a mini with the Psyker trait that uses the reaction too. So you use that reaction, and then you basically a do-over, and that's it. So curses aren't very common, and honestly, and I talk about this in the video that's coming out, I don't think curses are great because they're a lot more difficult to get off. The math just isn't there for curses to excel into a lot of things. So I probably won't use curses often, and when I do use a curse on a unit, it definitely won't be against a unit that has a Psyker in the squad. So I'm not going to give them a second chance. I think that reaction's called Nullify. Yeah, there's no like Psychic Hood that just like -1 to willpower or anything. There's none of those abilities. Would you be wanting to get into commission painting? I am a full-time commission painter, Light. So yeah, I'm cool to get into commission painting. So I'm not painting a commission at the moment, but I have one I'm starting as soon as this mini's done. yeah, no problem. You know, if I could, I would just paint my own minis all day, every day. But as far as a job goes, I cannot complain about what I do. Into it, sadly, there's not a lot of interest in my local area. Yeah, I don't commission paint for locals. We have a lot of commission painters around us, and I just decided I'm not going to step on their toes. So, yeah, I have painted. I'd say I could probably count on one hand the amount of commissions I've painted for locals that, like, aren't just like direct friends of mine that know me outside of like the local, like, gaming scene. Occasionally there's like, you know, someone in a game group I'm playing with, and they're like, hey man, I have this character, could you paint this with me, or paint this for me, or whatever, and like, can we just do that? Or yeah, and like I'll do that, but yeah, it's very rare I get a local commission, because I know there are people in my area that do commissions really cheap. There's one guy who's on disability, and he's like, I can't make over a certain amount a month, or I lose my disability benefits. So he paints stuff really cheap. Now, I don't think his work is great. Um, but he paints a lot of minis, and people go to him because it's cheap. And like, I'm not gonna just start, I'm not gonna try to advertise against that, because it's hard to convince people that the difference in quality of work when they're just looking at photos and stuff. And again, I don't want to step on people's toes either, so just kind of let him have his thing there. Be a full-time commission. You got bills to pay. Yeah, that's fair. 1-inch heroes. Yeah, I used to commission paint. I found it was just sucking all the joy out of painting. That's fair. Why are all those pieces too small? Really hold them and clean them. Oh, that's too bad. Sorry about that. What's up, Misfit? I am back. Yeah, I paint a lot of Votan. Don't know why, but I've never had an Eldar commission, but I'll paint Votan every month. Okay, we got gold through there. If there's just some random pieces, I bet these things can be silver. These little like venting things. Some little gold accents on a couple of these pieces. Did I order the Krieg box? I kind of want to. I'll be honest, yo. I want to order the Krieg box. It looks really good. Creative work on disability too. It's one type of job I'm glad to have it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, I understand. I can. I'm not on disability. And I'm able to do other work. It's just this allowed me to spend a lot of time with my family, and I'm able to pay the bills and. Yeah, get to be my own boss. So there's advantages to it, but there's definitely disadvantages, right? I was working for GW at the time. Spent all day painting, then went home and painted. Yeah, the Christmas Krieg. Oh, Christmas Krieg look good. I'm gonna paint these like door hinges gold. I want a little more gold on this mini. No, I do really like the Krieg box. I think the Krieg Holiday box is the most interesting looking one. Understanding everybody has their own preference, but I do like that box. But I've told people that if I were still actively playing and collecting 40k, Krieg would be my army. I would have had 5,000 points of Krieg at this point. I would have still been buying that box. Being your own boss an illusion? Yeah. It sounds like something my boss would say. I'm not thrown by many of the Christmas boxes this year. I think one of the most interesting is the Votan box, the new mortars. Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I figure Votan players who haven't got a lot of the new stuff might like the new box because it's got the little frog truck in it, and it's got the cool mortars and everything. That reminds me, I had to go to the post office today. Reminded me, guys. Sounds like something who isn't their own boss says as a cope. Yeah, that's what Blue said. Yeah. Being married and having 3 daughters will definitely make being your own boss an illusion. That's true. Yeah, that is true. More on here, then we go. I had to go back to these weapons. I had some other colors to put on these weapons too. The black after I get this color. It's the Havoc launcher. I wanted some black on the Havoc launcher. I've seen some cheesy heresy lists pop up here and there. And honestly, like, I'm not super impressed. What's funny is, like, a cheesy heresy list looks nothing like a cheesy 40k list. Like, a cheesy heresy list, like, yeah, I have 4 Land Raiders and a heavy Land Raider, like, Cerberus that can one-shot a tank, and I'm bringing Tech Marines and then squads of tacticals and all this. And you look at that and you're like, yeah, that's an army. Like, yeah, it's cheesy and like super powerful, but you're like, man, that's just a normal army like looking thing. Oh, thanks, Misfit. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Any amount you guys can check those videos out or give them a like or just leave a comment or something. Even if I'm getting something wrong, that all definitely helps. I am uncomfortable asking people saying the YouTube things of like and subscribe and all that on the video. So that might be at my detriment. I might have to start doing that, but cops are out heavy today. Still twitching and you're still driving? It's in like 40 minutes. What are you doing? So Zen, when are you going to Dunkin'? When are you going to Dunkin' Donuts next Wednesday? What time? There's a Dunkin' Donuts opening near me, and they're having their grand opening. And the first 100 people in line, or who order or whatever, get a whole bunch of stuff. What are the things here? You should the video and sign up for notifications. Yeah, okay, that's true, Blue. That's true. First 100 guests get free coffee for 100 days. You spin a prize wheel for Dunkin' swag, and you can do photo ops with Sprinkles the Donut. So it sounds like a good time. Free coffee for 3 months sounds pretty nice, to be honest. Mini painting because I didn't enjoy illustration that much anymore. Yeah, it's just your job. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you can still be creative and do something different. I get it. Need to see Zen in a photo with Sprinkles. I don't know. That might be a Patreon chat night photo discussion time. So Zen, you got any dates set up, dude? I gotta know. Wait till you get to the next light and tell me. You don't have to go into any details, but Just want to hear thumbs up or thumbs down. Because I'm fully invested, honestly. Like, this, it's incredible. You, the whole story is amazing. Oh, hey, oh, who was it? Who was it that said they put minis and whips? Sorry, I did forget, but I just remembered. And yes, your Plague Burst Crawler is looking fantastic. The color scheme is so good. It's like so simple and so good. Yeah, fantastic work. Yeah, you're probably gonna grind this thing up, and it's gonna be yeah, fantastic work on those. Death Guard can look really good when they want to. Since taking me to the bagel place, it still counts. If you're meeting him at that bagel place, I'm going too, because those are good bagels. You got to get the pickle, though. I'll eat the pickle from the bagel box, though. Because apparently that's against some people's culture. Give me a few bagels. Yeah, exactly. That's how I am, man. You toss a few free bagels my way, and I'm going back. We almost went back last weekend. We ended up not. Don't remember why. Oh, it's because I went on my own. I picked up the FellBlade. That was less than a week ago. I got this mini. That's crazy, guys. Now here's the real question. Should I try to like burn through and paint this mini by the end of the weekend? Or should I kind of wait? Yes, paint it this weekend. Because you know, if I get the wash on it today, then I'm gonna start highlights tonight. Like I'm just gonna move right on. Burn through it like Pyre. Yeah, burn through it like a Pyre sorcerer possessing a warlord titan. It's all silver. Okay. Let's get that coat of gold there. We'll get the other one. Movie dates. Dunkin' Donuts promptly at 9 a.m. You should show up at 8:45 or earlier. I'm just saying. If you want the free coffee, you want to be one of the first 100 people. I've done these before. I've done it twice at grand openings. So, all right, Light, you have a good one. Enjoy your dinner. Thanks for hanging out. 8:45 is probably the latest you want to show up. Nice, Raja. All right. Hopefully see you in a little bit. Background's looking good. I'm excited to see the kill team all finished up. Do a second coat of gold over these ammo bits here. When anyone says pickles with a bagel is weird and not someone's thing anywhere in the Northeast. Yeah, I mean, this bagel chain is out of Cincinnati, so it's not like Hey, the official, I don't know, kosher naming society approved of it, so it can be a thing. And I don't need any gold on these. Yeah, they're gonna be a little crazy. So we did gold. Let's do our. We did that. We did that. We need some dark neutral gray. We'll do our steel touch-ups on everything. Okay, and we are gonna cover this mini in some wash. It's gonna be ridiculous. Oh, Zen, I don't know. I don't remember if I told you. This morning I got an update from Amazon that filament will be in. I think it said the 16th, like that day. It's very, very specific. So that's next week, right? Yeah, that's next Thursday when it should be in. I've been watching streams of Here's Might and Magic Olden era since the company put out. They gave like early release demos, a bunch of different creators, and man, the game looks so good. I am ready to get my hands on that game. Okay. The cabling. This bolter turret has a ton of cabling. all throughout. And there's a lot of stuff you can see where like the red shows through, where I need to get another coat of silver on here. I was in a hurry when I was painting that silver last time, so. For all this gray, we'll get a second coat of gold on some of these areas, and I think there's a little more black I wanted to put on, and then we'll do silver, and then washes, and then I have no idea where to go from there. Maybe we'll, I don't know, put some minis together or something. One game I found recently was a game called Deep Sky Derelicts. Turn-based tactics game where you explore and loot old, for lack of a better term, space hulks. Okay, oh, that's cool. It's turn-based tactics, like XCOM style things, right? How's the RPG progression? Also blue. It's okay if you haven't, but have you tried Heroes Hour yet? I've had a lot of fun playing that game recently. It's so quick. Not turn-based combat. Oh, okay, okay. Kind of like Final Fantasy. Oh, I gotcha, I gotcha. Yeah. I understand. You have like your team and they take turns attacking, basically. But it's not like a grid square. Yeah. Yep.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Who is that? Thanks to whoever that was. Throwing in, yeah, okay. I got it wrong, I get it. Jeez. Normally there was exactly one person that played that sound alert. Wonder if they're present. They haven't been here in a while. That's Marathon. Yep. What's up, Marathon? How you doing? Had a chance to test Heroes Hour yet? Been on my crummy laptop. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think Heroes Hour takes a lot to run. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, that's cool. The game is I'm having a lot of fun with it, and it does have like that's some kind of multiplayer aspect. I'm not sure how multiplayer works exactly, but it's nice if like the other person playing the game goes into a battle and you're waiting 30 seconds for the battle to finish. It's not like a 5, 10, 15 minute thing. Started studies this August, so that checking in now, just lurking a little. Okay, nice. Well, good to see you. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, I was playing that game Heroes Hour, and I was doing a longer playthrough, and something clicked about that game, and I was like, I get it, and yeah, I was able to make like really busted, like overpowered heroes carrying your armies around. It felt really good doing that. Not doing well all the time. I'm doing okayish. All right, that's fair. Can't expect to always be great. Still trucking through. It's dark neutral gray. It's not taking too long though. I think highlighting the red will be enjoyable but time consuming. It'll probably take me about 2 hours, I'm gonna say, to highlight the red on this tank and all the accompanying gifts. Was that blue? Just send me something. Did you just send me that game? Is that what you did?
Look at me!
Oh yeah, nice. All right, thanks, man. Am I looking in finished projects? Oh, it's the girl from K-pop Demon Hunters. Very nice. Yeah, good work. Good work on that. Yeah, Rumi, that's her name. You know, I first watched that movie, I thought all of her friends were calling her Rumi like roommate. And I was like, what's this girl's name and why is no one calling her her actual name? But no, her actual name is Rumi. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, why is that guy calling her Rumi? Like, I don't think he lives with him. Okay. Dark neutral gray finished there. Let's move these over. Yeah, great work though. Great work, Snow. Alright. What am I to do here? I know there are... It's not a lot up here or over here. I can do the black real quick. Spot. $4 for the base game, 2 DLC. Yeah. Oh, sweet. Yeah, thank you, man. I will, I'll try that sometime soon. I don't play a lot of those, like tactics games like that. I think the last one I played was a mobile game. I think it was like Star Wars, A Galaxy of Heroes. Because that had that kind of, that style of game. That was, like, it's a gacha game, right? Is that what you call it? Doesn't seem like that, but there's good, like, not a lot up here. Yeah, your wife describing you, jeez. We gotta risk it. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. Okay, wasn't too bad. Alright, we can correct little mistakes there. But that a little bit black, we'll get some gray. Let's see what else. But yeah, if there's a good like RPG progression in it, I'm gonna be all about it. So I do like a game with good like RPG progression, good like level up stuff. Okay, I think that's it. I don't think there's any dark neutral gray on there. Now the turret, on the other hand, is going to have quite a bit, including on the little tank commander sticking out the top. I don't know, man. Where is it? Got pulled over for streaming and driving. Not far enough to evaluate on the overall progression. Enjoyed building out my characters though. Okay, cool. Going blind, alright. Will do. Drew me in like one day. I've had an airbrush. Yeah. I understand the need for the airbrush is great. It's funny. Fighting his weekly fight with BK. Possibility. To 3D print a tank? Looks like fun to paint. Yeah. Yeah. You can find a lot of good STLs out there. I heard a crazy story about Games Workshop suing an STL creator. A really big one. And hold on, I can look up the name of the creator. But GW just outright suing them for like tons of money. And like, you know, put the dude out of a home and his family out of a home kind of money. Was it Galactic Armory? Is that the one? It's Gamak, Ghamak. That's the one. That's the one. So apparently a couple years ago, it was like 2021 or so. GW, they sent out. They had a big wave of like cease and desist, which they put out a lot to like STL creators and stuff. This particular company had been going since like 2019, 2018, something like that. So they had been around for a decent amount of time. They had like, you know, thousands of STLs they had made. They're just pumping them out. And GW didn't send them a cease and desist. They just outright sent them like a lawsuit. And they said like, hey, you need to take down all of your files or whatever. And or they said like a certain amount. I think there's some details on it. I read it once, but the owner of the company is like, okay, he's like, what files specifically do you have concerns about? And they didn't respond. And he would send things like, hey, I need to know like what I'm doing or what I need to do, and they wouldn't respond. They just ignored them. And then like last year, they sent them basically just like papers for a lawsuit that they're like suing them for a bunch of money and everything. And it's interesting because, you know, it can be kind of obvious that they're making proxies for Games Workshop. You know, like it's hard to deny that. But the styles are definitely different. Like, are they they're asking them to take down, you know, like an armored guy riding some kind of flying creature, and it's like how far does the copyright go, right? Like the enforceable copyright, you know, like they can ask people to take down stuff at any time, but when it's like fantasy creatures or like a skeleton warrior, you know, like can we not create STLs of a skeleton without getting sued? Is that going to be part of it? So yeah, they're trying to fight back against that. Chaplain helmet. Oh, we got the merchant tier, yeah, with them, and they got taken down basically, yeah. And that's just kind of what happens with the creators, right? It's like the risk they run. You were the Plague Burst call. Oh yeah, no problem. Nubra, it looks great. Fantastic looking Plague Burst crawler, and you're jetting through that army too. So they did helmets for GW shut it all down. Yeah. This is Gamak, and they have a GoFundMe, and he explains a bit more. So they never provide a specific list of models to be removed, and explain how they were infringing on their intellectual property. They asked to hand over sensitive business data and demanded that they sign a contract that would prevent them from making new models in the future. The lawsuit that GW sent, which listed over 1,000 models, did not include any copyright infringement claim. It was framed as unfair competition, claiming in substance that creating models compatible with GW games is illegal per se. Which is very, very interesting to hear about. How they don't actually have a copyright claim to the models. It's just the competition. So in saying that, they're making a claim that that anything that would be compatible with their games that someone would buy in alternative would be competition and unfair competition. So, frankly, it seems like a stretch from GW's part, but we'll see how much, just absolute money influences this. But then also, I'm curious, even if GW were to lose that case, what are the ramifications? Because we had this over a decade ago, maybe 15 years ago at this point, with Chapter House Studios. And Chapter House was making bits and selling bits compatible with GW models. And Chapter House won the case. It was a really long case. It was a really big deal that they won, and like everybody celebrated. But then what happened, a direct result of that was GW said, okay, we're not making anything that's not copyrightable. And you can't play with bits that aren't on the minis. And they transitioned into that whole attitude. So how is that going to translate if they lose that? Iffy, legally iffy, socially catastrophic. Yeah. Miniaturista has a new tribe on my mini factory. It's free this month. Oh, cool. PDF painting guides from El Miniaturista. It is just straight up greed. Yeah, that's what their legal department's hired for. What's up, Culture American? How you doing? So this color here. And like, I honestly wonder, like, does that increase sales? And I understand, like, there's the whole, like, you gotta protect your IP and blah 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 blah. But like, we're thinking like long term. Long term, it probably does increase their sales. People have really short memories with this kind of stuff. Short term, it's bad press. But I think McDonald's has taught us that any press really is good press. So okay, I think, all right, got back with that gray. Let's continue on with this silver. Make sure we got everything. Probably hit short term. People forget, move on, start buying again. Yeah, and then they just have one less option to buy, right? Thank you, Culture American. I appreciate it. All right, we're chugging along on the mini. That's the goal. Yeah, the people that boycott, it's just new people. They release another edition of the game. They throw in some more nostalgia bait. They finally release the Plastic Thunderhawk. All of those things that they do. Jack in the Box have a bad E. coli outbreak. That wasn't good press. Yeah, I mean, so would Chipotle. Chipotle had that too, right? That kind of wrecked Chipotle. Chipotle has it like yearly. Yeah, they didn't have it for a long time though. And then it started happening really frequently, and it happened enough to where they changed their business practices. And once they changed their business practice, like how they prepared their food and everything, like sure there's no E. coli or less E. coli or whatever, listeria, but man, did the quality of their food go downhill real quick. Okay, I think we're good on turret. Let's get to the big boy. Technically, that was 60% less E. coli, yeah. Yeah, man, Chipotle used to be great. Yeah, yeah, Chipotle was romaine lettuce, where a lot of these farms, it's like cattle farms, right? That would get priority, or they'd be like upstream of all the irrigation, and it was just like dairy farm or like beef farm waste getting in the water or pollution getting in the water, and they couldn't, like, the farmers would fight back on it and try to make laws that would prevent that, but it wouldn't work. And so it was just this like nonstop back and forth of literal cow manure polluting the waterways into your lettuce. Yeah, yeah, the waste was getting the plants. Yep. It's crazy. Like, it's not really like a, you know, like, I'm sure Chipotle would like source their product from specific farms, and then those farms become a problem, and then, you know, there's like compounding issues. But it's like romaine lettuce for a long time in general was hit really hard with like listeria and everything. It seemed like it was everywhere. It's just Chipotle uses a lot of produce. Maybe some corporate sabotage, you know. Let's never know. Okay, we got these. We don't need to deal with those. These things, pretty good. A few mistakes on the reds, but we're not correcting reds right now. You learn how to color outbreaks. Not to use water downstream from our. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, big romaine tomato, or big romaine lettuce. Yeah. Yeah, Coke bottom. Yeah. Yeah, see, the problem cultured American is greed. So, do we know better? Yes, we do. Of course, we know better. Are people who have money going to pay money to make it better? No. No, because that means they have to pay money. And it's cheaper for them to deal with, uh, a potential lawsuit. And the people causing it aren't even the ones getting sued. It's the dairy farms, but then it's probably the lettuce farms that are the ones that people are all freaking out about, who are like, it's out of their control. Like, they don't choose which direction like the water flows, right? And so the people causing the problem have zero incentive to make it any better. I don't know what you're talking about, Zen. No idea. But we can't have government to regulate because it's socialism. Yeah, yep. Yeah, people have honestly forgotten what it's like to have pure unfettered capitalism. And it shows. Okay, so we pull a black. We gotta get some silver here. The trickle down economics. I'm still waiting for the trickle, man. It's been about 50 years. I think the trickle should have started happening at this point. Stars that live in the UK. UK is not far behind. break out some Upton Sinclair. I read that book in college just on my own. A painting wife actually bought it for me. We were dating. She bought me a bunch of like classic literature, and I loved that book and absolutely hated it. And it's funny because that book is about, it's about a person in the meatpacking industry, a foreigner that immigrates to the U.S. from Eastern Europe with his family, and he gets a job in Chicago, in a meat processing plant, and it's awful and disgusting. Yeah, the jungle. Yeah. Um, wait for the yeah, and it's funny how well known that book is for getting the FDA created, right? Being one of the big reasons the FDA is created, but it absolutely is socialist propaganda. But like the story in that book, like it's not far fetched. There's nothing that happens in that book that is absurd or unrealistic. And it's a pro union book, right? Because I think the main character, I can't remember the main character's name. It's been almost 20 years since I've read this book, but he ends up joining like a socialist party or whatever. But it's about like getting unions for the employees and making the working conditions better, and they're exploited at every turn by capitalists and stuff. And it's like, yeah, okay, no, that's a legitimate thing. It's not because he went into his plants with first-hand experience. Yeah, we're still doing it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. They are. Oh man, and those businesses, they exploit people so bad even today. Like children working in those factories like overnight and everything. Like they got busted for it. Last year there was a lot of these companies getting in trouble for it, but haven't heard anything this year. I guess they all decided to clean up their act and not employ any children illegally anymore. That's all I can safely assume, right?
First of all,
Yeah,
take
yeah.
this
It's just
moment to thank you for allowing me back into your
I
home.
know they're still doing it. What's going on? Thank you. Was that a YouTube sub? Thank you so much, whoever that was. I'm sure your name will pop up here in a few minutes. Nightbot on YouTube is a little sluggish. We can clean up on a lot of these parts of the silver, make everything look a lot better. Get to these washes. we were I was with my parents yesterday. We went to lunch, and then they wanted to stop at Kroger. And here's like bolters. You got bolters? Yeah, just all the heavy bolters on here. So airbrush steel, thin it down with some flow improver or something, or you're gonna have a bad time. It's pretty thick paint, but You're talking about one particular Kroger store. Kroger, for those of you who, if you're not American, you might not know what Kroger is, but I think it's the largest grocery store chain in the U.S. If you have something to thin it out, some kind of acrylic medium or something you can thin it, you want to do that before you start pushing that through an airbrush. Just my recommendation. You can also crank the PSI in your airbrush up or something, but might not be quite as great. It's pretty thick paint to push. So we're talking about Kroger and in my area. Glaze and wash might be okay. The problem with glaze and wash is it doesn't thin anything; it'll dilute it. But you want something that'll even like water misfit, a little bit of water in there, because you can't have that thick paint being pushed through an airbrush. It's yeah, it messes up the flow of everything. It gums up your airbrush. But anyway, there's a Kroger, somewhat close to where I live, and it's, Kroger for a long time, like, it was like a nicer grocery store. Um, they have a lot of things going for them. Like their whole all their employees are unionized. Anyone who's not management, I think it's like a Teamsters union, so it's like big union. They get paid pretty well for, especially working in a grocery store, and typically really hard working. They always used to be clean. Well, Kroger's gone downhill a lot, and the Kroger near me, or one of them, I have like 4 Krogers near me. So this one Kroger near me, it's gotten really bad. And one of the things that they started doing, because I think this Kroger was like tanking, and I think like their sales are tanking or something, I don't know, but we would shop at this Kroger, and what they did was they took all of these essential items from grocery shopping. So personal hygiene items, toothbrush, toothpaste, shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, paper towels, like all these basic, like, kind of necessity products, and they put them in their own section in the grocery store. And what they did was they completely blocked that section of the grocery store. And in order to leave that section of the grocery store, you have to purchase everything that you have with you in that one section. And then you have to, like, they check your receipt and, like, make sure that you're not stealing out of that section, like laundry detergent and stuff. And I was, my parents are boomers, and there's a lot of baggage that goes with that. Sorry if you guys are baby boomers too, but they have a lot of expectations on how people in general should act, and they have a lot more sympathy toward corporations than I do. But my dad was talking about that, and he was like, as people steal so much from there, they had to do it. And I was like, Dad, people are not stealing so much from this place where they have to lock up, the Tide Pods and paper towels. Like, Kroger as a corporation steals more from people, namely their employees, than any amount of theft, like petty theft, is going to take from their stores. Like, the company gets a free pass for being unethical and for stealing, but because they're a big company, it's just like, oh yeah, well, that's just what corporations do. Look, they're saving on their taxes or whatever, and they're helping their bottom line, so it's okay. And he brought up, like, Walmart. He's like, yeah, people probably steal more from Walmart than Kroger, and I was like, they probably do, and it might even be employees, because in the United States, I know people outside the U.S. probably, you guys have probably never been to Walmart. They're normally complete dumps, but Walmart is known for paying their employees so little that an employee at Walmart can work full time and still have to be on government assistance. So Walmart is relying on taxpayers to pay their employees while they make record profits every year. And I'm just going to keep going on rants today because I got nothing else to talk about, so this is what you guys get. But, you know, if that isn't theft, like, I don't know what is theft at that point. If that's not considered like the absolute bottom line of like, what, like human ethical behavior, right? The anarchist dad, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, it's built into Walmart's whole system, right? To pay their employees so little to put them on government assistance. So Walmart doesn't have to pay them to live, basically. And then we all get to pay for them to live. You know, our taxes get to pay for that. Well, Walmart, the Walton family or whatever, they're some of the richest people in the world. Crazy. My dealer in college worked at Walmart and knew how to somehow scan products incorrectly, so they'd beep but would come up on the bill. Nice. Yeah, that's great. Nothing like some rage paint. Yeah, you get a lot of painting done, man, when you're just furious at things. Yeah. I've painted quite a few minis in my day like that. Painting Dad has opinions on things. Yeah, so if I ever see somebody stealing something from Walmart, no I didn't. Or Kroger, no I didn't. It's not my problem. Those people obviously have bigger problems to deal with than I do. And making someone's day worse after it's already bad enough, you know, that to me is inhuman. And that's not what we should be about. So calm and relax, and I just turn my brain off and focus on all the injustices in the world. Yeah, so I used to work for a large parcel service company, a very large brown company, and I would load box trucks in the morning. So I'd load their delivery trucks, and it was an okay job. It was tons of exercise. I would be destroyed at the end of like a 5-hour shift working there. But then peak season came around. And peak season, I would work 10 hours with a 10-minute break because somehow they loopholed the rules where they didn't have to give us a lunch break because it was like a temporary, like seasonal work, doing the extra work. I don't know. It's probably illegal, most likely. But so we'd work 5 hours, 10-minute break, go work another 5 hours. And that's what we would do. I use Winsor Newton Flow Improver, Misfit. Winsor Newton. So yeah, they have insurance for that kind of stuff. Yeah, no kidding. Well, I would do these 10-hour shifts of just nonstop, and it would start at midnight. My shift would start at midnight. I'd have to end by 10 a.m. so the driver could get out and deliver. And then I actually worked as a driver helper. So I would meet a driver at noon, and then I would ride around with him, and I would be the one running and delivering packages. My driver was really good, though. Like, he made me do it for the first couple weeks, and it was really busy. We'd both be able to go out and do it, and we got done really fast, so it was good. But I'd be doing that until about 6 p.m. And then I would go home, like I would shower, eat, sleep, wake up at 11:30, go back out at midnight, go to work until 10, get home, shower, eat, sleep until noon, like an hour nap. It was crazy schedule. Well, I got to the point where I would just be walking in and out of the back of trucks all night from midnight to 10 a.m. That's all I was doing, just back and forth. And I swear I solved so many of the world's problems in my brain through those times. Could not remember a single thing that I figured out while I was doing that. But you know, I solved the world's problems while I was walking in and out of these trucks, you know, at 4 a.m. because you just, yeah, it's like hypnotizing, you know. That was crazy. Yeah, working. What was that? Was it like 18-hour days or something? That was crazy. I did that for 5 weeks. Yeah. Well, I did it for 4 weeks. Stream meter. Yeah, Winsor & Newton. Winsor & Newton Flow Improver is my preferred brand. It's this stuff, the artist acrylic. That focus, there's the focus. That's the stuff I use. But yeah, so my driver had young kids, and I remember one day he told me, we're driving around, he's like, yeah, so my daughter has pink eye, and I was like, oh, okay. That's cool. Anyway, next morning I wake up and I had pink eye, which is just horrible. I don't think I'd had pink eye since I was like a really little kid, so I had no idea what to do, and I was freaking out. And I ended up missing like a week of work, and that whole company is built on like you show up to work no matter what. And like I remember my bosses trying to like guilt me and like getting all super mad about it. I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Like I can't open my eyes. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep a night, 5 days a week. Like my body has no ability to fight whatever it is I have here. Yeah, that was awful. That company was another bag of horribleness. Sometimes I'm like, man, I could just go work there and just do early morning shift, work for 5 hours, get some exercise, and come home and just continue my day. But no, it was just doing that was fine, but it's like all the people there just make it horrible. Like none of the people in charge have ever had a job anywhere else in their life. And that's how that company likes to run. So what happens is nobody understands what it's like in a different company. So they don't understand like how there are different ideas to make things better and that you can do that. It doesn't cross anybody's mind at that company. It's crazy. And like everybody high up in that company and management just brags about like, yeah, I started working here while I was in college and just worked my way up. I mean, I've never worked anywhere else in my life. And no one knows what it's like to be the truck guy. Yeah. It's like working for the government. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Yeah, the last thing anybody at that company wanted to hear was how to make things better. Hey, Jaded Valkyrie, what's going on? Hope that was a firework. What are you talking about? Never worked anywhere else. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it definitely shows. There was a funny moment working there. I was a supervisor there, and we had this after shift meeting, and they had a new district manager, so guy over like the whole Midwest, and he was coming in to check out our hub or whatever, and all the management's freaking out, all the upper management and stuff, and like, oh, everything needs to be clean and stuff, and it's like you can't touch the floor without just being covered in dust, but whatever. So they're trying to clean and like make sure everything's good. Well, the guy shows up and we have a meeting. And the people I'd worked with, the mainly the two people in charge of that shift, uh, neither of them had worked at any other company. Yeah, the ranting and quad cannons. Yeah. Um, One of the guys is a lot older, and man, he would. Both of them would just yell at people nonstop, like just get in people's face and just start yelling at them. And they're both like middle-aged guys or whatever. And one guy always tried to be super intimidating to everybody. Well, this new manager comes in. This guy is maybe 10 years younger than both of them, and he's also just this little tiny dude. He was, you're a shorter person, nothing against you, but this guy was he was a very small person. Well, we start this meeting, and everybody knew from the outset that this dude was furious. He was absolutely furious at our entire building. And so he starts going on and on about just like how poorly everything's done, but how inefficient everything is. And he starts going on. And something he brought in, we're all sitting in this big meeting room. And he's like, what is up with the chairs in this room? Like, our building, they had not purchased new office chairs in probably 30 years. So we had all these like dilapidated chairs, and like office chairs, but they're just like garbage. Like they could be thrown out at any time, and no one would care. And he's like, what's up with these chairs? And my boss was like, this guy is always like yelling at people. He's like, I don't know what are you talking about. He's like, these things are garbage. He's like, throw them away and buy new ones. He's like, you have a budget for this kind of stuff, right? And the guy looks at him, like turns white as a sheet, and he's like, no, I didn't know we had a budget for chairs. And he's like, are you kidding me? He's like, how long have you been doing this? And you didn't know you had a budget to buy like office equipment. So this guy was just watching my bosses just be scared out of their mind. I think at that point I had already decided to quit, so I was like, all right, I'm just gonna sit here quietly, and yeah, the big boss though, like, that guy had his own brand of horrible. I remember he went around the room and he was like, do you guys plan on working here? Like, you guys plan on staying here for a long time? And he asked every single person. He got to me, and of course I was like, yeah, I do. And he was like, okay. And like, I think there was one guy that said no, and he just like drilled into him like why he didn't want to stay. And it's like this, like right here, like do we have to say more as to like why people don't want to stay working at this company? Like, look what you're doing right now. Crazy place. That moment though, when he told the guy he had a budget for chairs and the guy had no idea. Just so funny. Just him being like so feeble. Oh. What else are we doing? We're about ready for a wash. Kind of place where they think employees are like rented. Yeah, I know. Man, almost like UPS could stand for something other than United Parcel Service. My first day of working there, Jaded Valkyrie, my very first day of working there, I was training with a supervisor, and we're just chatting. He's showing me like, okay, here's how you get the boxes out. Here's how you load them. And like, check these codes. You do this, do that. And he's like, oh, by the way, you know what UPS stands for? And I was like, yeah, it's United Parcel Service. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, it's underpaid slaves. He's like, that's what it stands for. And I was like, okay, cool, boss. Just like your supervisor just tells you that your first day of work. Yeah. Yep. I know, yeah, how do you respond to that? Like, okay, thanks, and just walk out. Yeah. That was funny. That place expected so much of people, and when I was a supervisor, I would train new employees, and everything, and we had a guy we were training one time, and what we would do is you would have a month of like a probationary period. So you learn how to do the work, you're eventually doing it on your own, and then after a month we decide like, hey, are you able to do the work? And if so, you stay on, you join the union and all that stuff. Well, we had an older gentleman come in, and it's rough work. Like it is rough on your body, like just lifting these heavy packages all, day in, day out, all this stuff. Well, this older gentleman was got hired and was doing his training and stuff every single morning. This guy, not only could he not finish his trucks on time, and like he always needed help to do this stuff, he reeked of alcohol every single morning. Like he was coming in hungover, which is not allowed when you're working around like heavy equipment and stuff. Like just straight up not allowed, right? So me and my other supervisor, my partner, were telling our boss, we're like, hey, this guy reeks. Like he is coming into work drunk. Like the guy's he's an alcoholic, which I hope he gets the help he needs, but like this isn't safe. He can't work here. And our boss at one point had a conversation with him, and he's like, hey, I noticed you smell like alcohol. And the guy's like, oh yeah, I had a glass of wine with dinner last night, and everything like that. And we're like, oh no, like come on. Like this is pretty feeble attempt, but whatever. They ended up hiring the dude. They wouldn't get rid of him because they needed the people more than apparently they could afford to get rid of an alcoholic dude working around a bunch of heavy equipment. That place, I was a supervisor, and I saw like the stats they had. So they had like annual goals of like, hey, we want to get these numbers here, and your accuracy numbers and our metrics and stuff. One of their metrics was their turnover rate. What do you guys think the turnover rate for a place like that is? Yeah, body count over morality. Yeah, exactly. What do you think turnover rate? 60%, 50%? How often are people leaving? The turnover rate there was over 110%, which I don't even know how that happens. How do you have 110% over turnover rate of people in a yearly basis? Yeah, and their goal was like 104. They're like, we need to get it down to 104 to meet our goal. Yeah, 110% was their turnover rate. It's just wild. I remember that number right there. It was like one of my first days as a supervisor. I was like, this is not gonna be good. Starlit Misfit, welcome in. How are you doing? Approaching fast food turn. I don't know. I don't know normal turnover rates of businesses, but I know that one, and that is something. Did I get that one already? Worse than your last employer? Yeah. It is nuts, isn't it? It's crazy. Good. Working on some Votan. Nice. What color did you paint them? I'm working on big tank here. This big FellBlade, Legion FellBlade. I think we're about to do some washes. So we're going to do this in kind of 2 stages. First stage, I'm going to take some, we're going to do some flesh wash here. We're just going to put this on the gold. Put a little bit down there. Forge Bluth moments. We have employees load their equipment at U-Haul and then fire them all. Yeah. Arrested Development's so good. Pair of converted Sagittars. Oh, you put legs on them. Yes. Okay. Starlit, if you have an Instagram and you'd like to share your Instagram, please. If you don't, if you wouldn't mind joining the Discord, I have to see these. I have to see the legs on your Votan minis. If someone could link the Discord real quick. We have a great community. I love seeing painted minis anyway, but that sounds particularly cool. Thanks, Culture. I appreciate it. I am really happy with the progress I've made on this today. And honestly, I feel like if we had started painting this Monday, and I streamed yesterday, because I did take the day off yesterday, if I had all 5 days to stream, this many would be done on Friday. Or at least, like, functionally done. I would still have to do, like, certain things, like varnishes and weathering and stuff, but the weather powders and everything. Yeah, where'd the legs come from? Yeah, that's you got some questions to answer, Starlit Misfit, because also you won't be the first Misfit in the Discord. We got Misfit 23 who hangs out. Is big mini painter, painting a bunch of Heresy minis at the time. I have an Instagram at Starlit_Misfit. They don't have these set up right now. Okay. Put your Instagram link in. Looking, I'll give you a follow. I'll have to take a look sometime. I'm really bad at posting on Instagram, but I'll occasionally see what people are working on. Mainly I get on Instagram and someone has sent me some unhinged reel, and then I just get off. I'm just exhausted at that point. In whips? Oh, sweet. Okay. Alright. Pause all work. Sagittar with legs.
Look at me!
Oh, that's so cool. They're like little armored legs. It's like they're like Defiler legs, but like more sleek and Votan-y. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, thank you, Cultured. That purple color is great as well. That is a fantastic color for Votan. Those are super cool. Very cool minis, Starlight. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and where'd you get the legs? My pebbles are applicable and mostly funny. They are blue, and I'm not saying it's you that does that. It's mainly another particular offender whose pebbles are unhinged and disturbing. Legs it off Etsy. They're from Station Forge, and they're from the Scavenger Tank. Okay, Station Forge Scavenger Tank blue. I stream on YouTube and Twitch, Starlit, so if I'm talking to someone who's mysteriously not replying in Twitch chat, it's because I'm talking to someone on YouTube. Izaki look to him? I don't know what that is. Kids in your anime references. Yeah, very cool though. I am very impressed. These look really good. Did I go? No, I didn't get all these. All right. I'll be painting more Votan here soon. Got some Emperor's Children I'm going to work on, and then jump over to Votan after that. Got October's giveaway mini set already. If you guys want to know what we're going to give away in October, I can show you here. Let me get this gold wash on. I'll show you guys what we're going to give away in October. We're going to paint and do a giveaway. Two of my 5 Canoptic guys have copper now. Nice. Yeah, they're going to look great, Raja. You have yet another team to play, right? To put on the board. Okay, so that's just him. So many teams. You do, yeah. Yeah. That's nice though. You know, and that's one of the big benefits of a game like Kill Team is that, you know, you can pay $150, $200 every couple months and just have everything, right? And you have all the options you want. You get nice little projects to work on that are all different. You're not painting the same minis over and over again, so it's great. Some of the scavenger minis. Oh, nice. Okay. Are those like the underwater dudes? Is that Station Forge? League is called the Hellier Subsidiary, or is there an offshoot of the Ymir conglomerate dedicated to hunting down, architect, on abandoned worlds, and so on? As they go into a lot of overgrown or ruined worlds, their transports have legs rather than wheels to help them traverse the terrain. That's awesome. Yep, the lore justifications for the legs, appropriate and super cool. I love it. It's great. Great looking minis. The color scheme's awesome. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, the underwater dudes are tabletop time. Okay, sorry. Yeah. Okay, we got the gold on those. Now what we don't need is the gold on these. These will just stay their color. These are just shell casings, so I think that's all the gold there. What I am going to do, I'm going to put this back on its stand here. Ugh. All right, sweet. And that's going to get washed with everything else. Set you down there. Actually going to do, give me just a second. Self an appropriate place here. And also, I have not shown this to you guys yet, but these are all the treads. So that's it. I have 2 sprues of these. Also very simple. There are less pieces to these treads than most of the other tanks. But they're big. Big treads. Let's compare them to the Spartan. Yeah, they're bigger than the Spartan size treads there. So those will also get a wash, but we'll get to those as well. A lot of kit bashing. It's number 1, causing me getting into new armies. Hey, that's awesome though. Yeah. Pastel and proxy minis. Was it like the AdMech minis that you're talking about? Okay, let's put some of these guys up. And we're going to get out Black Wash. We're going to get out Glaze and Wash Medium. And we're going to get out Flow Improver. And what I also should probably get out... Where's my other palette? Where's that little rascal? Because I think I mixed this in a palette here. Let's just get some of this. Okay, that's not working too well. You get this just right, a lot of this paint just peel out. That one might be okay. Okay. Clean pip. Big treads for big tank. Yep, that's right. Okay. So the key is here. This is our color. This one helps keep it smooth while diluting it, and this helps thin it out so it covers better. But this one, if you put on too much and you have too much as full improver, you'll get some like water spotting. Not too bad because there's no like surface tension, but it will bead up. This helps it spread more evenly and kind of keeps it consistent. So we'll do a little bit of this, a lot of this, and about equal parts of wash to non-wash materials. So, and like I said, the glaze and wash medium is really thick. So like Misfit 23, you were asking about using the glaze and wash medium. Okay. They put a little poop in there of so yeah, it's very viscous. That thinner, and let's do a lot of black wash. So probably be replacing this at some point. We're going to use big brush. Let's go ahead and close that up. I'll move any painted minis to the side in case we have any splashback. Okay. Contrast paint's also really good for this, because you're dealing with more pigment, right? And when you have more pigment that you're dealing with, it's less paint to dilute, so you use less paint. So I used to use contrast paints for this kind of thing. Chemic minis. I get why GW went a little nutty. Yeah, they can be pretty similar, but I think one of the big issues is GW never like explained why, right? Or like what, and GW never followed through on like what is a copyright infringement, and that's also not part of their lawsuit. So all right, we ready? That seems a little bit heavy on the black, so let's actually put some more flow improver in here. There we go. We'll try to do one piece of equipment at a time, because if we have to refill, I don't know if we can get our exact mix here. So we don't want to do just like half the mini one color, half the mini another. And we're going to kind of be gentle. We're going to try to like dab the paint on. I don't like wiping with washes because I'm always afraid I'm going to start wiping paint off underneath. But that's what we're going to do now. That's spread really well. It's looking really good. Okay. Yeah, let's get the next one. easiest step, but it's the step that makes me the most nervous. Well, at the end of the day, if I end up putting too much wash on, you know, I highlight it back up, and it's hard to tell the difference. Last time I washed tanks, I used my airbrush, and I think I went a little too heavy. I didn't thin the airbrush wash enough, because you have to thin it down a little more, and it ended up just darkening everything, and I hated it. Ended up like having to pull paint off of the Mini and everything, so it was like a big debacle. So I'm just doing this by hand. I also don't have 4 tanks I'm painting at once, so probably get up through the turret. Don't know if I would get the hull with this. Good case against copyright infringement? Yeah. Probably, yeah. It does seem like, not specifying what is infringing and what isn't and all that. It seems like they're just going after the whole catalog, which seems very questionable and seems more like a business decision than a legal decision, right? I also have no experience with the law. The most experience I have was closely following the Chapter House case back in like 2008, when apparently everybody on DACA was an attorney and a corporate attorney that focused on copyright infringement law. So they all knew what they were talking about, and I was just reading what they were talking about. So it was amazing how many lawyers are on that website, though. It's just so many. I am not doing oil washing, Chippy, but welcome in. This is a diluted wash, just a Pro Acryl black wash. And I diluted it with some glaze and wash medium from Pro Acryl and some flow improver. And we're going to have a fun couple days of highlighting all this up, and then we're going to be super happy that we have a FellBlade painted in a week or so. So it'll be really good. Yeah, so flow improver is a medium that specifically, it doesn't alter the color. It doesn't alter its like matte or its finish, so it's not like more matte or more satin. And what it does is it removes surface tension, any kind of surface tension that's present, and it slows the dry time. And sometimes when we're painting minis, we don't want the dry time to slow down, but other times it's really nice because it allows us to work with the paint a lot longer. So if you're doing things like wet blending and things, I highly recommend flow improver for thinning your paints. But yeah, in this case, I'm using it more as a thinner and a consistent thinner, because I could use water, but the water has its own inconsistent issues and stuff. So paying for a product instead of using the free product I have is I guess what I got to do. But well, lunch break, want to stop by and say, hey, Estrello, what's up? Hey, the your Saturnine dude looks really good. I like the simple touches you added to the Mini. It'll look really cool when it's painted. Yeah, great work so far on that, Estrello. All right. If there's any Heresy fans that are in the stream that haven't heard me blab on about this, but I do have a YouTube channel. I stream on YouTube concurrently with Twitch, but I am uploading videos to YouTube about Heresy 3rd Edition, specifically Thousand Suns. But I do have a video that'll be popping up today that's a more generic, like how to use psychic powers and kind of the ins and outs of it. So if you want to learn more about the gameplay, if you're interested in maybe starting Thousand Suns or learning about some, how their Thousand Suns rules work and stuff, I have a channel where I basically just chat about different things. And I have I think it's the third video about to pop up. So I'll try to get 1 or 2 out a week. Depends on how, I'm feeling, what kind of time I have that week and everything. But back switch is pretty easy. Yeah. Yeah, chess piece, shaving out a chess piece. Yeah. I get it. Alright, those little pieces are done. Now let's get the turret. We can start with the guns. I'm painting a FellBlade right now, and this is a very big tank. It's the size of a Baneblade. It just released this past Saturday, thanks to the generosity of all of you guys. I raised the money almost as I was like half-hearted, like, man, it'd be fun to raise some money for this, and like, if we got the money for it, and that'd be cool, and maybe by Christmas or something, because I told my wife, like, yeah, I think this is gonna be my Christmas gift for myself, is this FellBlade tank. And she's like, sure, that sounds great. And then I was like, what if I could get it before Christmas? And then you guys just like went above and beyond and raised the money for me to buy this thing at release, which is absurd. Absolutely absurd, giving your money to strangers like that. Thousand Suns, the beginning of the book, which they're fighting the Eldari Titans with the Space Wolves. Yeah. Yeah, that friendship is definitely one-sided, though. I think you see quite a bit. But yeah. Thousand Suns, that's the thing about Thousand Suns. They wanted to get along with everybody. They didn't have any beef with anyone. But everybody hated them. Or a lot of people hated them. Because they were scared. Or they were Mortarion, who's just a jerk. Start getting your hands messy here. You can see how that goes on a little uneven, and then it starts to even itself out. Armon the Space Wolf Rune Priest? Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Zan? What's this woe about? Did you wet the mini? Yes, I did. It's called a wash. Yeah, the Rune Priest thing with Ahriman too is interesting because like you kind of know how it ends. Well, especially if you read the book once, right? You know how it ends, but it's sad because again, it was like a one-sided thing, right? Like the Space Wolf dude was basically just like trying to find evidence to accuse them of doing wrong. And like that was his whole point. But he gets his comeuppance, so all good. I don't think there is a more satisfying kill in the book than that one, or in the series than that one. Maybe there is, but everybody agrees that Rune Priest deserved it. Your Prospero is what stops me from making a Space Wolves army. My first back in Rogue Trader, yeah. If you've ever read the book Burning a Prospero, like the Space Wolves perspective, I don't think it makes the Space Wolves look any better in that situation. Yeah. A bunch of big old hypocrites. Yep. I read Thousand Suns, and a buddy of mine is a Space Wolves fan, read Burning a Prospero, and we kind of swapped books. And I remember him telling me, he's like, I read Burning a Prospero, and he's like, man, he's like, the Space Wolves seem like totally in the wrong the whole book. I was like, oh, is that so? Like, I'll read this. I was like, oh yeah, they are. Yeah, Space Vikings sound cool, right? It's like an idea, it's great. Got treads. We'll do the treads next. And then I think we'll remix in some more wash and stuff when we'll get the hull. That's what we'll do. We don't really have to wash in there. Gonna be stuff glued in. I'm gonna edge highlight every single piece of this red armor, guys. What he'll be like when Russ comes back. I've talked about this quite a bit, of my idea on how GW could make Leman Russ really cool in 40k whenever he comes back, which is probably by the end of 10th edition. I think he's going to be back. But the way to make Leman Russ a really cool character and to add cool stuff to the whole story is you make him like hideously mutated by the warp. Like physically. So mentally he can be, oh, I'm a good guy and there's nothing wrong with me, blah blah blah, that's fine. But physically just being completely wrecked, and yeah, like a full-on Wolfen, and the Imperium just completely rejects him. That to me is kind of the interesting way to go about his character. And then you have Space Wolves who, you know, maybe join him and they're like, well, yeah, you know, like Russ is our Primarch, we have to, like, Russ is in the right. And then yeah, and they basically like go rogue with him, and there's like some fracturing in the Imperium. Like there's a lot of cool stuff you could do with that, right? I think that's the more interesting way to go about this. Especially since two of the Primarchs that have come back have been like totally cool and normal, or at least on the surface, and they're just kind of de facto like in charge of the Imperium. Yeah, I don't think they'll do that because Space Wolves are like, they're the goody two shoes. People talk about Ultramarines, but like Space Wolves can never do wrong in GW's eyes. So they'll never do something to like make the Space Wolves lose or hurt. He doesn't like Gilliman. That's too bad. Oh, the lion doesn't like Gilliman, yeah. The lion's kind of a whiny baby, though. That dude, he's got plenty of his own issues to worry about. The other side, we'll move on to the other ones. We're kind of on track here. I don't necessarily have to do much of a wash on the underside here. I guess it's more just the sides. So if we go around, we make sure the sides get their wash, we'll be good. Because these are all being glued in. So we're going to see the underside of these tracks again. Save us some wash also. And I'll need another round of it before I get to the hole. Back in a bit, no problem, no problem. Yeah, on track, yep. I did that totally on purpose, guys. No mistakes here. Yeah, believe it, Zen. They're on sprue. All right. Give these a good dry brush, but yeah, that's good work right there. So let's set those. Let's get the other set. You know, maybe I glue these on before I do highlights. So what if that's a project for tonight, clipping these pieces off? Or maybe doing my dry brush on these first, then just getting them on at some point. I mean, that flow was a good, or that wash was a good mix I made there. Good ratios. You do more, yeah, of course I'll do more weathering. Yeah, I'm gonna do all my highlights. I'm gonna put transfers on the mini, and then we're gonna start with some weather, and we're gonna chip and powder and do all kinds of stuff like that. So I don't typically do tons of weathering on my tanks. Mainly the weathering I do on my tanks is just powders, like pigment powders. But I like to do a little bit of extra on the tank too. Some dirt and grime and stuff. Doesn't the wash make the glue not adhere as well? Not that I've necessarily found. I'm also only gluing in some specific spots. So, and I'm probably going to use super glue for these tracks. Sitting with 10 Plague Marines at once right now. Hey, that's fine. About done with base colors. Gonna Streaking Grime for the first time. Nice. Yeah, that's nerve-wracking though, Streaking Grime. So I've never painted Plague Marines, but I am a big fan of batch painting. So, you know, it's pretty miserable while you're doing, especially like minis as like detail oriented as Plague Marines, but it'll be fine. I'm sure they're gonna look good. Make sure you varnish them before the Streaking Grime. Okay. So these ones, we gotta pull this excess wash. Okay. What we can actually do. In a second look, we got any more pooling? Not too bad. Not too bad. A little around there. Alright, yep. Okay. Clean this brush. Dry enamels and oils is a reductive process, yeah. Okay. Looks like some of that glaze medium didn't mix in all the way, so let's just put a little more. Some more of our flow improver. And like that, maybe just a little more. Getting a little low. But our wash, our Pearl Crow Black Wash. And it's gonna be the big boy. So let's push that back. Let's give it a good mix. Make sure we got what we want here. I think that's pretty good. Let's check it out. So we want slight color alteration, but mainly we want it to flow into recesses. If you want this to work, and guys, I'm just going to tell you, this is not going to sit in frame. So just apologize if it's all over the place. But if you want to maximize how wash works, especially over like mimicking like a metallic finish and everything, gloss varnish your minis before you wash them. Okay. Exhaust things are going to be taking a lot of wash. Fine. You gloss varnish, then you do black wash. Yeah, that would be the way, because what happens is, you know, the wash you want to stick in the recesses, right? So you don't want it to, usually you don't want it to sit on the surface of the mini. So the gloss varnish removes surface tension from the actual mini and further aids the wash from just sinking down into the recess. So that's kind of the idea behind varnishing before you do that. It also prevents any kind of, I guess, reactivation if that's a concern, or it's just like general like pooling and things like that. Which way do we go first? I think we'll continue up to here. The back of this mini always has a lot of the details, the engine and everything. Yeah, no problem, Chaos and Land. Also, good afternoon. I don't know if I've said hello to you today, but I see you there. Let's move on along down one side. So much washing. I think we got a really good mix of wash here, mixing those two mediums in the color. I really allowed this paint to spread out, so we're not going to get like the big water spots. That's a big key when you're doing a wash on a mini like this. Copper's all done. Nice. Metallic cherry red. It is. It is. It's a clear red over metallic. You can see my recipe if you type in !red. People do love to ask me how I paint this red, so that's how I do it. All right. One side, we got the wash. Let's get the other side. Works great for Blood Angels and 10,000 Suns. Maybe, yeah. I can't recall if I've seen a Blood Angels scheme in with the metallic red.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing
Hey,
me
Chippy,
back
thank
into
you for
your
the
home.
follow. I appreciate that. Make sure we're not overdoing it with wash in areas, because I don't want to have to mix more wash. It's going to make my end result more inconsistent. But this is going to get more than a couple hours to dry, and then from then on out, I will need to use a glove when handling this mini until it's varnished. Or I feel like I'm just going to start pulling wash off the mini. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I appreciate it. Hope you guys have had a great day.
Look at me!
Oh, we're looking whips. All right, Misfit. I'll check out whips here in a minute. I did see you finish your command squad, which is very legit. Let's do this. I'm gonna do the lazy way here. Let me finish this wash, okay? Because we're about done and I don't want my paint to start drying out when I have time to work with it. I'm not going to go all the way in here because this is where the turret sits. And it's just going to end up getting rubbed away, so... Almost there. So that's a good way to hold this. Okay. By the inner wheels. Either side. What's up? Too many misfits in Discord. Yeah. Just all the misfits. Houdini, what's going on? I'm painting some speed paint bottle toppers. Okay. Nice. Like mark out your speed paint bottles. really like trying to rush here so I'm not losing my paint. Misfit, it's like you got a new sibling in Discord. Another misfit jumping in. Guess we'll do this. We got a little bit of extra here. Okay, we got that. I think that covers all of this mini. We got under there to that point. I think that's fine. Get you all the way to that wheel. That's good. Yeah, okay. I think the wash on here. Now, what I'll do, either after I'm done highlighting some certain things, or, you know, when we get to a certain point, I'm probably going to take a pure black wash, undiluted, and I'll go over some different pieces. I want to grime up the exhausts a lot more. These pieces, the little fuel canisters on the back, those kind of things, I think they get a lot more kind of washes and weathering and color change. It's really the red that I want to be careful overdoing it, and wash like the wind. Yeah, the painting misfits. There you go. Yeah. All right, let's see in whips. three misfits. What's happening? Now there are 3 of them. That's true. Yeah, that one misfit hasn't done anything. Ooh, are these Iron Warriors misfit? Did you airbrush these with silver? How was the experience? There is a Highlander contest now. Yeah, there can only be one. So I don't know who the other misfit is. Misfit, do you have an alt account? Is that what it is? Steel, yeah, no, went great. Okay, good. Yeah, man, good wash to grime those up. They're gonna look awesome. All right, that's washed. The turret is washed, and again, some more things could get some. So you guys see how I put this black wash? You see how it's almost turning like brown or reddish? That's the red paint activating. It does that sometimes. I'm hoping it doesn't do it too much on me here. What I do after I paint this clear red is I cover it with a gloss varnish to seal it, and then a matte varnish to make it paintable. But sometimes it's just not enough. So we'll see if I'm able to able to not have to deal with the dang reactivation too much, because it's really annoying. But we got laser destroyers ready to go. Minimal pooling there. A little bit of pooling, not bad though. It's looking good. The petroleum brown wash, yeah. Test it out. It's very, it is very brown. So, which I imagine is, you know, if that's what you want. But it seemed a lot brighter than I thought at first. You know, with like a lot of greens and stuff in it. But it is a very cool color. So, I have not used it much. So, I definitely have time to learn how to use it. Let's pick you up. Let's put you down over there. And draw over there. This is a thing. I'm not going to put this together today. We're going to call stream here in a minute. But, good friend of the stream, Estrello, sent me these. These are classic Forge World Epic Armageddon Warhound Titans. And they are Lucius pattern Warhound Titans, which are the more boxy Warhounds. I don't know if you can see like the top of it. He sent these to me, very generously sent these to me free of charge to paint and give away. So we're going to paint these, and we're going to give these away at the end. This is going to be our paint and giveaway this month. I'm going to come up with some color schemes. I want to do Legio Graphonicus because they were in the Kill Lupercal series, and that seems really cool. But we'll see what we do about the others. But they look pretty simple. I need to clean them. I gotta clean them and then put them together and stuff. Maybe next week or the week after we'll get to it. But should be fun. I have never painted a Titan of any size. So this will be a really fun experience to mess with them, man. These are older Forge World. See the flashing and the slipped molds. Yeah, it should be really cool. What's that? A giant bolter weapon, and there's like a plasma blast gun, I think is what each of them have. Are there weapon? I don't know if there's a lot of. There's 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think. Yep. Set weapon options. They're already there. They got the cool heads. Yeah, I like these Titans. What's the Titans that serve Zarokod? Oh, yeah, there was a specific Legio, right? Legio Zestobiax. What colors are they? They're like white and purple, aren't they? Yeah, they're like white and purple. Oh, those look great, though. Yeah, Reavers are my favorite. Oh, well, that's good to know. Very cool. All right, well, guys, just to let you know, YouTube video coming out this afternoon, this evening. So, you know, check that out. It's just me talking about Thousand Suns, more general Heresy 3rd edition rules, but somewhat in the context of Thousand Suns, if that's what you're interested in. But thank you guys for coming to hang out today. I got a lot done. I need to give all these a few hours to dry before I get to continue on, but hopefully tonight I'll be able to start some highlights, and then yeah, and then we can just pick right up tomorrow. Yeah, I stream from 11 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's about 2 p.m. So I will be back on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. So, and more likely than not, Zendra will be joining me. I don't know what he'll be hanging out, chatting, probably telling some crazy stories like he does. So, but yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. I do stream weekdays 11 to 2 Eastern, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I try to stream Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's kind of like a week or a night stream, so it's the late night. TPD after dark or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I will see you all tomorrow, and yeah, you guys have a wonderful day. Bye, everybody.